In the heart of the African savanna, there was a prosperous kingdom called Uzuri. Uzuri was known for its lush fields, golden sunsets, and the wisdom of its people. But what made Uzuri truly special was its sacred talking drum, a gift from the ancestors. This drum was no ordinary instrument. It could speak the language of the gods, foretell the future, and guide the kingdom in times of trouble. The drum was kept in the royal palace, guarded day and night, and only the king and his most trusted advisor, the drum keeper, were allowed to touch it. One day, a terrible drought struck the land. The rivers dried up, the crops withered, and the animals fled. The people of Uzuri grew desperate, and the king, Motsi Okeke, called for a meeting with the elders. "We must consult the talking drum," he said. "It will tell us how to end this suffering." The drum keeper, an old man named Boba Tond, brought the drum to the center of the village. He began to play, his hands moving rhythmically over the drum's surface. The drum's voice echoed through the air, deep and resonant, but its message was unclear. "The drum speaks in riddles," Boba Tond said, frowning. "It says, the answer lies in the heart of the forbidden forest, where the spirits dwell." The forbidden forest, known as Igbo, was a place of mystery and fear. It was said that anyone who entered never returned. The elders whispered among themselves, afraid to venture into such a dangerous place. But the king's youngest daughter, Adanna, stepped forward. Adanna was brave and curious, with a spirit as wild as the wind. "I will go," she declared. "I will find the answer and save our kingdom." The king hesitated, but he knew Adanna was his only hope. He gave her his blessing and a small leather pouch containing a golden amulet. "This will protect you," he said. "But remember, the forest is full of tricks. Trust your instincts, and do not stray from the path." Adanna set off at dawn, her heart pounding with both fear and excitement. As she approached the edge of Igbo, the air grew thick and heavy, and the trees seemed to whisper warnings. She tightened her grip on the amulet and stepped into the forest. The deeper she went, the stranger the forest became. Trees twisted into unnatural shapes, and shadows danced in the corners of her vision. Suddenly, she heard a voice, a soft, melodic hum. She followed the sound and found herself in a clearing, where a woman sat on a rock, weaving a basket. The woman had skin as dark as midnight and eyes that glowed like embers. "Who are you?" Adanna asked, her voice trembling. "I am Neka, the spirit of the forest," the woman replied. "Why have you come here, child of Uzuri?" Adanna explained the kingdom's plight and the drum's riddle. Neka listened carefully, then said, "The answer you seek lies within you. But to find it, you must pass 3 tests. If you fail, you will never leave this forest." Adanna nodded, determined. "I am ready." The first test, the river of tears. Neka led Adanna to a river that shimmered like liquid silver. "This is the river of tears," Neka said. "It is filled with the sorrow of those who have lost their way. To cross, you must face your greatest fear." Adanna stepped into the river, and the water rose around her. Suddenly, she was surrounded by visions of failure, her family starving, her kingdom in ruins. She felt the weight of despair, but then she remembered her father's words, "Trust your instincts." She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and whispered, "I am strong. I will not give up." The visions faded, and the river carried her safely to the other side. The second test, the tree of shadows. Next, Neka brought Adanna to a massive tree with branches that reached into the sky. "This is the tree of shadows," Neka said. "It holds the regrets of those who have made mistakes. To pass, you must confront your deepest regret." Adanna approached the tree, and its bark began to shift, forming faces, her own face, twisted with guilt. She saw moments when she had been selfish or careless. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but she said, I cannot change the past, but I can learn from it. I will do better. The tree's branches parted, allowing her to continue. The third test, the mirror of truth. Finally, Neka led Adanna to a mirror that stood alone in a field of flowers. This is the mirror of truth, Neka said. It shows who you truly are. To pass, you must accept what you see. Adanna looked into the mirror and saw not just her reflection, but her soul, flawed but full of love and courage. She smiled and said, "This is who I am, and I am enough." The mirror shattered, and the path ahead became clear. Neka smiled. "You have passed the test, Adanna. The answer to your kingdom's suffering is simple: unity. The drought is not just a lack of rain, but a lack of connection among your people. Return to Uzuri and remind them of the power of working together." Adanna thanked Neka and hurried back to the kingdom. When she arrived, she told the king and the elders what she had learned. The talking drum was played once more, and this time its message was clear: come together, and the rains will return. The people of Uzuri listened. They shared their resources, supported one another, and worked as one. Slowly, the skies darkened, and rain began to fall. The rivers filled, the crops grew, and the kingdom flourished once more. From that day on, Adanna was known as the heroine of Uzuri, and the talking drum became a symbol of unity and hope. The kingdom never forgot the lesson of the Forbidden Forest, that the greatest power lies not in magic or wealth, but in the hearts of those who care for one another. And so, Uzuri thrived for generations, its people forever bound by the wisdom of the talking drum and the courage of a young girl who dared to face the unknown.